We are back, boys.
Whoa.
Welcome back
Hello,
to
boys.
Sunday night session. Now, Robbie has turned to Matt tonight. So we have a special guest with us, the Aussie Flipper. Obviously, all you guys, I'm sure, are aware of who Matt is. But for those that aren't, I don't know how. But give us a little bit of a rundown on who the Aussie Flipper is, Matt, before we get started.
Boys, thank you very much for getting me on the show. I've been watching for the last few weeks. And look, I'm relatively new to the game, but I'm absolutely loving it. Full-time for the last 7 months. Wouldn't class myself as full-time financially. I'm sort of working towards that. And that's part of this YouTube channel, is to document that journey from sort of being very much beginner level up to being out of home. I'm living with parents at the moment, to be out of home and have this as my full-time job. So 7 months in, going well so far, loving the process, watching you boys a lot as well, learning a lot from you, and trying to pass on anything that I learn along the way as well.
And you're 3 vids a week, mate. That's commitment. I can tell you that I struggle getting 2 out, so I don't know how you do 3. So yeah.
Look, I've really probably, going into it, I really wanted to document the journey. I think that was super important. And I think I've really spent a bit of time trying to learn about the YouTube algorithm and how to grow an audience. If I'm going to put so much time into making videos, I really want to be actually speaking to people. So there's been a process to try and learn how to best utilize YouTube to get the most out of the viewership that you can try and get. So I've spent a stack of time just working out the best process to get the biggest following you can, and to try and help as many people as I can out there. But I think 3 videos a week is a bit of a sweet spot, for me. I've really always kind of stuck to that, and I think what I've been most proud about is I've never missed. Even being in Sydney over the weekend, as I was touching on with you boys, I've just shot the What Sold video for tonight. It's probably going to come in at midnight, but it's going to be there, and I think that's probably the biggest thing with YouTube.
I think that's with everything, right? With eBay, with YouTube, just trying to be consistent with it. So I think you've hit the nail on the head there. And there's probably a few topics that will follow that trend tonight, I reckon. We'll say a few hellos while we go. Sort of a couple normal names in the chat. Disgruntled Octopus is always one we like to say g'day to.
Speaking of normal names.
Yeah. Aussie Tip Rap Raiders, Thrifty Pixie, Joseki Watches, Wayne. Chris is in the house as well. What's up? Recommerce Dave, Thrifting Oz Style. That's Robbie's favourite. Not with us tonight, but hopefully in future again. Oz Riley, Disney Thrifter of Oz. Jazz is keeping us safe, which is awesome. We've got Alicia, and we've got We Flipping Good Stuff, and Mum's in the house. So we're on when Mum's in the house. We know.
Mum is our number one supporter. Mum is here week in, week out. Mum's the best. We love you, Mum.
Thanks for being here. So, boys, let's do a quick run around. So we sort of have a little bit of a loose format here, Matt. I don't know how many episodes you see, but we usually do a little bit of a wrap around and let everyone know how the week's been for us. Later on, we'll talk about best sales, and then we'll talk about dog shit at some point in time as well. So, Flipper, what's the week been like for the baby-faced Flipper this week? We've lost some of the chin hair.
Yeah, that was a little bit of dog shit, that one. I thought I'll pretty myself up. I've done a video this week. I'm not like Maddie. I don't have Maddie's consistency. I just put out a video whenever I can be fucked on it, to be honest. And I managed to get 2 out last week, which is huge for me because I think the week before I fucking skipped it. So anyway, I thought I was getting a bit scraggy. Every couple of days, I'll give a quick trim and tidy myself up. And I was a bit half cockeyed when I was doing it, and I went fucking bang and took out a big chunk. So I had to get rid of it all. The kid didn't like it. The wife didn't like it. And I live in Ballarat, so my face is fucking freezing. So that's borderline dog shit. I guess it's not reselling related.
You didn't think about going like the wrapper like cut-ins at all? Just the you can
pull that off, I reckon. You could definitely pull that off.
Give it a go. I could give it a go. Maybe when I come up in a couple of weeks, we'll have a play with it. We'll see how big I can get it before then. But no, the week's been all right. Been fairly solid. Like I'm still kind of catching back up because we had those inconsistent couple of weeks with family health and all that. And then I found a bit of a dip yesterday. Yesterday was really shit for me. It was down, just incredibly down, more than normal. And even today was kind of slow. But the last 2 hours, my sales are just fucking pumping. So it's like eBay's just like kicked into gear 2 hours ago. And I've done more money in the last 3 hours than I did all weekend. No shit. Like there was some big price sales, don't get me wrong, but it's crazy. Yeah. Like I haven't done as much volume in the last few hours, just like bigger, higher priced items. But it's just the last couple of hours have been mental. I don't know why. I can't like going out.
Interesting how that happens, hey? And mine sort of mirrors yours, so I'll talk about that in a second. But Matty, you told us before you came on that you're a bit dusty because you had a bit of a big weekend with a mate. But how's the rest of the week been before leading up to the spontaneous trip?
The week's been good. The weekend was even better, but the week was good. I was really interested this week because I document on the channel a lot that I really find it difficult to step away from what I'm doing and to actually just try and enjoy just spending time with friends. So that was part of the reason why I thought I'd duck off to Sydney and catch up with a really good mate of mine. But then I was really curious to see what would eBay actually do when I'm actually stepped away and I'm not listing on a daily basis. So I didn't list for 4 days from Thursday to Sunday. I haven't listed anything yet, since getting back today. And Thursday was really good. I had an average. I do pretty much about $300 a day in sales on eBay. And I hit that mark on Thursday, and then I dipped down to $100, say, on Friday. And then again, the weekend has just been really, really good. I've had a heap come through, and I've sort of just kept my normal averages. And yet the only thing I've really done is that end relist process. So I was really happy to have 4 days away, have a good time, and actually still see the sales come through. So I think, I'll probably look to try and take a few more days off moving forward because I know now that obviously the sales will come in.
Yeah, I think that end and relist strategy that Jada talks about and we do as well, I think definitely can help when you are sort of away and you don't have that time to do something new. You can just change the title a little bit, chuck a new item specific in, and you almost got a brand new listing, which is awesome. So.
Absolutely, yeah.
Chris said this week has been super quiet and nothing today about to break my streak. Jazz is saying the days are over. We had a very quiet weekend, actually. So there's probably a few factors for us. We had 2 returns and we had a Vero on Wednesday or Tuesday or Wednesday, I think it was, on a Hard Rock Cafe t-shirt. So
that's fucked.
Yeah. Wow. So be careful with Hard Rock Cafe. And I didn't know this until Sam Hamakasa told me. If there's a Hard Rock Cafe that closes, right, you apparently can't sell that shirt or item on eBay anymore.
Wow.
Which is crazy. So it's a legit item, but because that Hard Rock Cafe is closed, it's now a Vero item, which is insane to me. I don't understand why. But apparently she did quite a bit of research and that's what she found out. So it's interesting.
That's mental.
How are you supposed to keep track of that? Like, you're going to check every time you put a Hard Rock Cafe. I think the go-to is just don't put them up.
I've got a conspiracy about, like, as I said, my sales dropped right off. It was weird as shit. It was almost like I had an open return or something. And I know a lot of people have been saying that over this weekend. But I think and this is, once again, everyone knows I love a good eBay conspiracy. But there appears to be a lot of back-end work going on the last sort of week again. Yeah. At eBay, there's some weird shit going on. And I was actually talking to someone else yesterday because I said about a glitch. I don't know if people had seen that on my Instagram. I can't even remember what the fucking glitch was now. eBay had that many of them. It was the same business day. So I have one day handling, and for some reason, some of my items were actually getting changed to same day handling, just randomly. And it was just because I noticed it, I went back through a few, and some were just per normal, some were same day. So I just put a post up on Instagram, but someone messaged me saying something that happened to them, and the exact same thing happened to me. And it was Saturday morning. I started getting all these messages from people that bought shit from me like a week ago, and eBay have automatically sent out a bunch of payment reminders to them. And they're going, I've already paid. Like, haven't you sent this a week ago? They're all confused. I'm like, what the fuck do these people want? What are they going on about? So that was another weird one, and I think that happened to quite a few people. Payment reminders got sent out to people.
We had a similar one where we weren't receiving messages from people. Like, they could see what we were sending, but we couldn't see what they were sending back. And then I think it was yesterday morning, we just got this flood of like messages from 3 days ago. So we're like trying to work out what was happening. So definitely something going on there at old eBay headquarters. You might have to talk to your mate Al, I think, and smarten up.
Slap him around.
So while we're talking about eBay conspiracies and whatnot, let's get into the topic of the night, which is removing negative feedback. Now, we all know that the old buyer can just do whatever they want and leave negative feedback whenever they feel like it, regardless of if it's something that is in your control or out of your control. But Jada, you sort of brought up the topic of removing negative feedback, and you're a big advocate of pestering them until that you get it removed. So give us a bit of a backstory about negative feedbacks and how many you've sort of had recently and how many you've been able to deal with, and what did you have to do to get rid of them?
So I'm sitting, I think I've had about 3 in the past now, 4, maybe 4. This might have been my 3rd, I can't remember now. And it's always kind of been that petty shit. And one of them was an accidental one that wasn't even supposed to be. It was a positive comment left as a negative, which we see happen at times. But this week I had a really, really bizarre one. And it was basically, I'd sent out a footy card. It was a $30 card. And they have complained about the way I packaged it. So I've been selling cards for a long, long time, even before I was a reseller, and I've done on my channel how I pack and send cards. And it's pretty simple. I got one here on cue. So basically what I do, I have these top loaders. For anyone that doesn't know, the card, look at that, the old Bonapelli Brownlow card. That's a ripper. So we get this little thing here called the penny sleeve. The card goes in there, and that stops it getting scratched. Then we put it in this top loader. So this is a harder plastic, right? That goes in there, and that's going to protect your card. Then what we do is whack a bit of tape across the top. That stops any residue or anything getting inside there and damaging the card. Then to stop it getting bent, cardboard either side, tape it up, put it in a bubble mailer and fuck it off. So that's how I've always done it, and that's the way. You can use card savers as well. But anyway, the complaint that I got was from this person was the tape across the top, that it's ruined the top loader. So the top loader is actually a packaging device. It's like someone complaining about the envelope being damaged or a satchel being damaged, there's writing on it or something. They're actually complaining about the thing they haven't bought. So that's for one where I know they don't have a leg to stand on. There's not going to be an issue there. But then the next thing they did, they wanted a full refund on the card. So they ain't getting refunded on the card because there's nothing wrong with the fucking card. It's a 5-cent top loader with a bit of sticky tape that'll come off with a bit of metho, you know. So I said, look, yeah, you're not getting refunded on that. If you want a refund, you're going to have to send it back the way it is. And then I'll refund you. You're asking for a refund on a top loader. So simple as that. And then they pulled the whole threatening thing. If you don't accept if you don't refund my money, I'm going to leave a negative feedback. And I just wrote back, that's fine, I'll chat to eBay about that. And what did they do? They left a negative feedback. Now, that's me just going in with confidence because I know as soon as you get threatened by a buyer that they're going to leave negative feedback, eBay will remove it. So that's just one for someone that wasn't aware of that. You know, if you do get threatened, don't go into submission and panic that you're going to get this negative feedback and go, fuck, it's only $30, we'll give it to them. No, fuck them. They've threatened you. Bang. It's not going to happen. And especially over something petty like that. Obviously, in this situation, I mean, we know eBay can be pretty fucking pathetic sometimes with they'll tell you they're not going to remove it. But in this instance, I was fairly confident that that's getting removed anyway, because that's not even something bad, like, you know, it's just something stupid. But that was my little experience this week. And I've had some in the past where we were talking about it the other day, and it was over something that was actually my error. I made a bit of a blue, and it was back through the Corona times, and someone bought an item off me, and they were in Mexico, and at the time we couldn't actually post to Mexico, and I didn't realize that. So I had to message him and say, look, mate, I can't send it to you. I've got to cancel the order. And I stuffed up. I actually just clicked buy or ask to cancel. Whereas I should have clicked there's something wrong with their address, you know. But anyway, I thought we're all sweet. And then I cop a negative, and it was in different language. And once I translated it, it says cancelled for no reason, don't know why, and all that. So I've reached out to the guy, never heard back. I reached out to eBay, and they said I'd never contacted him. So I said, well, I have. But then I found out later on I was actually talking to 2 people from Mexico that wanted the one item. And I thought it was the same person. So I've actually sent the wrong message to the wrong person. So they basically said, you don't have a leg to stand on. We can't remove it. You've just cancelled an order and haven't told him why. I said, but that's out of my control with the whole postage situation. They said, it doesn't matter. You've cancelled it and all that sort of stuff. You don't have a leg to stand on. So I said, well, you know, out of my control, that sort of shit. And they said, why did you say that he asked to cancel? He didn't ask to cancel. So it all come back at me. They said, we're not removing it. That negative was going to stay. So I'm thinking about it, and I thought, no, this is fucking bullshit. We're going to have another crack at this. This is like, I have stuffed up. I've clicked the wrong thing, but I'm going to contest this. Had another crack the next day, and sort of the same result. So the third day, I had a ping again, and we just got someone a bit nicer, and they removed it straight away. No hassles. So that kind of what proved to me. Yeah, that's right. And you get different people, so you can get one person that's kind of strict on it, or they don't want to just pull those strings for you, whereas others can be good. I think the best tip going in is just never get aggressive with buyers. You know, customers always right. As much as we hate to admit that, that's a motto for a reason, because when it comes to brick and mortar, people say the customer's always right. So those customers, if you live in a small town, you want them to come back. For us, our feedback, that's our kind of, you know, customer's always right kind of thing. That's where they leave their review. That's how you get people back. So you've just got to be nice to them, as hard as it is, because we deal with some absolute deadbeats in the world of reselling. And it's the same with eBay. You just got to be nice, because I think they look back through your previous messages, and if you have been a bit of a dick in certain situations, they might not side with you. So always be nice, but be persistent. If they're saying no, come back the next day and just revise it with them.
Yeah, definitely. When you say they look at your messages, they 100% do, because I've had conversations with them before, and they've actually brought up things that have been in the messages and asked me to explain what was going on. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And then they finally removed it. So you're definitely right there, persistence. And when people start talking about feedback extortion, that's actually not allowed on eBay. So if that happens to you, you're 100%, you're safe, because they can't say they will leave negative feedback if you don't do something, because they're trying to get something out of you by making you do something. So, Maddie, you said before you haven't sort of had any sort of removed at all, but have you had any experience with negative feedback, and do you think it affects accounts at all or anything like that?
Well, yeah, I mean, absolutely. Before I even started going into it reselling, I started selling Funko Pops, and completely my error, I just posted them horrifically, and it did arrive in damaged condition. And I know that with the Funko Pops, you've got to be meticulous as a football card with those sort of things. So, you know, any form of damage on that, and I knew that I was going to be in trouble. Sure enough, I was. The negative feedback came through, but you know, to your point about the customer always being right, they 100% were right in this scenario. So for those reasons, I never bothered to go and try and get it removed, because I just didn't think it was, you know, going to stand a chance of being removed. It kind of deserved to be there. But what I've really kind of enjoyed, weirdly, in that whole process is that I wasn't sitting on 100%, and I didn't have that stress of losing 100%, which I know everyone seems to stress about. It's like I came into this sitting, you know, with a few sales under my belt, maybe 12 or 13 transactions, and I was on 75% customer satisfaction. And I've gone into wanting to be a full-time reseller, trying to build up my percentage from 75% to get it to 100. And, you know, I'm wherever I'm at now, I've done a few sales, and I'm sitting at 98.4%. So, you know, I've been able to get it back to a top-rated level. I've never disputed any negative feedback that's come through. I'm sitting on 98.4. Could I get maybe one or two of them removed? Probably, which I think tonight's a really good, you know, video and chat to talk about, because I might go and do that. But I think there's also a limit of time. You only get 90 days to actually do it. Is that the case?
Yeah, I think I did hear that's changing in terms of your feedback, how long it sits on your account for. But I'm pretty sure right now it's still, actually, it's 1 month, 6 month, 12 month right now on your list. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that, but just down the bottom there, you can see that. Yeah, so it sits there 1 month, 6 months, 12 months, and neutrals don't count against your percentage. So, yeah.
But look, I think top rated is 98% and up, and I was always trying to sort of work my way towards getting that top rated status, and I was sort of whatever that regular status is for a very, very long time. You know, months on end, I wasn't top rated. I've actually only really been top rated for the last sort of 4 to 6 weeks, and I haven't seen. Well, my sales are incrementally increasing, but I'm not to know whether or not that's due to my feedback percentage. And because I'm not at 100%, how many sales have I actually lost as well? Like, I don't know that either. But what has been good is I'm not stressing so much about that number. And I think a lot of people, when a negative comes in, maybe they can't get it removed, and then they feel really negative around their reselling and moving forward. And I've never really even thought about it. And I'm kind of glad that I'm not at 100%. I'd like to be as close as I possibly can, but I don't think, from what I'm doing from a sense of trying to scale a business, it's really had too much of an impact. There might be a couple out there that obviously don't buy as a result of the fact that I've got 98%, but yeah, it's a super interesting topic.
Do you respond to the negatives at all? Like, you can actually respond to the negative underneath it. Like, if it is something that you've made an error on, and you don't think it's going to be removed at all, do you respond to them at all?
Well, what happened initially back when I first ever started, it was the Funko Pops, and a couple of them came through as negative. It was a big bulk send. I had so many that came through. I sent them all out at the same time. 2 of them were negative. So right off the bat, I'm down to that 75% level. And like I said, because it was my fault, and being completely inexperienced, I just took it as negative and didn't think I had a leg to stand on to reply or to dispute it. So no, I've never really done it. I've just kind of left it as it is and kind of just continue to just move on and improve, obviously, in trying to put better posts out there, because that's such an important thing. I don't know on the split of negative feedback remarks around what is the cause for the negative feedback, but I dare say postage is probably a large one. I know there's a lot of questions out there, at least on my channel anyway, around how to correctly post items. And Jada, obviously you're talking about how to do football cards. I think if you just sat there and did videos on YouTube around how to do each individual item out in the post, I know you guys, to Aussie Thrifters channel, have done the same thing with how to send certain items. And I think that's the biggest thing out there, because people are so afraid to send it incorrectly and get that negative feedback. Amongst all of the other ways, you can cop a negative, but postage is certainly a huge one. It's sort of really stemmed how my negative feedback has come through. It's all been postage related. And I've taken away a lot from that, and I'm trying to obviously improve that, each and every week.
Definitely, and I think that's what you can do. Hey, if you're striving better, and if you're high 90s, chances are you're not going to have too many problems. It's sort of, maybe early on when like you said, you had, only a few sales and a lower percentage, that sort of what really impacts you. But if you've only got 1 or 2 and you've got thousands of sales, like your percentage is still going to be right up there. So
yeah, I think if you can get to that rated level, it's hopefully okay.
For sure. No, I definitely agree. We're pretty vigilant on ours, and we will try and get them removed if we think that it's something that, we're not in control of, like a postage issue, like it's been damaged in post because they've done something poorly. Like we post our stuff pretty well secure. So if it breaks, it's usually not because we posted it incorrectly or a time delay in postage. So we've got a few of those and we've got them removed pretty quickly. But luckily we're still up around that 100%. Well, we're at the 100%, I'm pretty sure, at the moment, which is nice. But even if we get 1 or 2, we only drop to 99 or 98, not more 99, because we have a fair bit there. So it's an interesting topic, and I'd be interested to see what everyone else does. And then Fee was saying in the chat, they'll respond, and Disgruntled Octopus is aiming for 88% here. I do like that. How many of your buyers actually leave feedback just for interest's sake? That'd be a real hard. It's not a big percentage, I'd suggest. I couldn't tell you exactly unless I really wanted to try and work it out. But
mine's probably maybe 30 to 40%.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I've definitely had an increase since I've been asking them to. Like I put in one of my videos maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, I have a thank you card reminding people that I run a small business, and that's in big letters, that it's a small business, because sometimes if your photos do look a bit professional and all that sort of stuff, or you're selling new stuff, they think you're a big company and they forget you're a small business. So I just make note on my card, thank you for supporting my small business, and then I say on the back, if you've enjoyed your sort of transaction with me, I'd appreciate the feedback. If you've had an issue, please contact me and we'll sort it out. And that's I believe that has helped people actually leave that positive feedback more often, but it's also probably helped me from maybe skipping the odd, neutral or negative there, whereas someone, gives them just that reassurance and they come back and they just say, look, mate, I'm not real happy. Not that I've really had that at all, but, I've had the odd one here and there, and they're just like, come on, mate, what's going on, sort of thing. And then we can sort it out, So I think that's, since I've been doing that, like I've had the thank you cards for a long time now, but I think I've definitely seen an increase of people remembering, because I buy a lot of shit off eBay too, to resell. I buy stuff nearly every day to resell, to put back on eBay. And, I'll get some days where I forget to go back through and I'll have a look and I've got 20 things that I've got to leave feedback for myself. Like I forget as well, because mine's all automated from a seller's perspective. So it's easy to forget. And especially if you're only buying a one-off item, you don't go back on for a few months there. So
I think a really important part of that feedback process is to leave feedback to the buyer as well. Like, I'm really vigilant on, as soon as I've done my postage run, to just do the automated send of positive feedback, to all of them. And I reciprocate a lot of positive feedback back from doing that. I probably initially early days wasn't leaving feedback to the buyer, which was a real negative for me. I should have been doing that from the start, but the percentages have certainly increased since I've been providing it back to them.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
And
do you have yours
a-
automatic, Matty?
Yeah.
Is it, so you don't touch it now? Just does its own thing?
I just go in and there's like 4 or 5 custom feedback messages and I just activate them. So it's a 2-click process for me.
Yeah, okay.
But it's just part of that. Like I go into my Excel spreadsheet, fill out for my own reference that I've posted the item. And then the last sort of tick on my postage run day is to just hit that button and provide the feedback.
Yep. You do the same sort of thing, don't you, Brad? Because you don't like leaving the automated stuff, do you?
Yeah, no, I don't like the automated stuff because then I feel like if someone is actually a dodgy buyer, it's really hard for me to change that feedback and get eBay to be like, oh, they've done something crap. So we'll often wait until they get it and then we'll leave positive feedback. So there's been a few that have tried to scam, and because we haven't left any feedback, it's kind of like, I wouldn't say it's in our favor, but I just don't want to give anyone a false idea that someone's a good buyer and they're not, especially like being in the community and knowing that there's plenty of scammers out there. I'm kind of more on the defensive side and want to make sure that if something bad happens to us, that we leave a comment that is relevant to the situation. So I know you can't leave negatives, but you can leave a positive negative in that case and sort of like warn people that, it's probably not the best transaction and try and get it resolved that way. I know that automation is a better way in terms of time, but I don't know. I feel like...
Do you have the template comments, though, that you're firing off?
Yeah. So that sort of saves a bit of time. I just want to highlight this from Wayne because this is a really good question. Can a buyer change from negative to positive? So you can obviously request them to change their feedback. So if they've accidentally left you negative feedback, which we've had happen once, because they left feedback on they bought 2 items, they left the wrong negative on the wrong item. So they left a negative for us instead of somebody else. So you can request them to do a negative, like do a change, but 9 times out of 10, you're probably not going to get much result out of that, I wouldn't think. Few dropping in at the moment. Thanks everyone for dropping by. Good to see everyone being here. A few new names, almost 50 in right now. So Maddie's brought them over to the new channel. Thanks, Maddie.
Got the crowd.
We'll get into the sale of the week. Now, you boys have dropped us a few items that you sold this week, so I'll try and bring them up, and you guys can talk to them. Here we go.
Talk to them.
Yeah,
mine's all packaged ready to go to mate. I can't talk to it.
That one's yours, is it, Maddie? The VCR?
Yeah, the VCR that came through for me. I don't really do a lot of these hard good type items like the VCRs, but when I do see them, I'll grab them. This one was $40 in the thrift, and look, I'm not afraid to spend extra money when I know the comps are talking to me on eBay. So I picked this one up, sold for $139. I think I profited about $65 when you take everything out of it. This one was around $150 pretty comfortably, and I took $139 as an offer. There was a lot of interest though, so I probably could have held out for full price, but like I said, I was going away to Sydney and I wanted a cheap quick win before I went away. So I said yes to this one. But yeah, VCRs are good. Like I'll always pick these up, and so far I've never had any issues with them not working, which I think a few people have that issue of VCRs just being faulty. Touch wood, that's not been the case yet for me. So until that sort of comes through, I'm just going to keep trying to pick them up because they're doing well for me.
Yeah, definitely. And most of them, like if you buy them from salvos and stuff, they have like a 7-day return policy as well. So if you're in your own area, you get them home, test if they don't work, you can take them back. So
100%, yeah. And I think there's more confidence in that than maybe even Facebook Marketplace. I'm yet to buy one off there, but that's a good spot to buy them too. So they're actually quite common from a reseller perspective. Like if you wanted to source them regularly, you can actually get your hands on quite a few of them.
Yeah.
And they resell for good value. Like I'm surprised that can go for 150, 160.
It's crazy, isn't it? And then you get combos and you could be looking well over that. And you got the remote there, so that's always
that's a bonus. That's a bonus.
Remote and manual, obviously you'll get top end. And yeah, this one was all working fine. It had the remote, so happy days.
Beautiful. And Flip, I'll get yours up in a second. There we go. Talk us through this bad boy. Is that you at the back there, Flipper? Or
there he is. There he is.
I'm at the front, mate. I'm the little spoon.
That's after the doggies had a win yesterday.
Yeah, Yeah. No, this one here, I took an offer on that. Obviously, I took a $120 offer on this one. So, and I don't know if something's going on with the Titanic at the minute. I don't know. I know the missus was watching it last night while I was at the pub having a few frothies. But then I sold this one a couple of days ago, whenever it was. No, that's today. And then I had two of these. So in that video where I actually bought out that collection from that lady, I paid $400 for a big lot of stuff, and a lot of it was all sealed, sort of new stuff, the reproduction stuff you see at JB Hi-Fi. And I don't know where she got it, but I just had so much stuff. But there's two of this actual vinyl, and it's actually that turquoise color. So the actual record itself is that weird color, really nice looking thing. And these are actually limited to 500. So there's only 500 of this made, which was really cool. So this was number 27 out of the 500, or it might have been 1,000. I can't remember how many were made now. But anyway, yeah, this one went. And then just before we jumped on, I sold another one. So I had two of them sealed up. So the other one love the vinyl, love the records. So usually pumping a lot of them out. So I've had a lot of fun with that. And then, so very happy with this one to move that on. As I said, I've sold both those two for $120, and I think I took $100 on the other one. So there's two of them gone. I paid $400 for the lot. I'm in on these at about $2 a piece. So, and then there's some of the really high end stuff. There's a lot of laser discs in there as well. For anyone that doesn't know the laser discs, the big old like the movies on the big disc, looks like a record, but there's a lot of that stuff. There's all sorts of shit. I've still got some of the stuff that I've got from that lot is still listed at 200 plus. Whether I get that, I'm not sure, but I'm just hanging around until I do. So, very happy with that one.
So good.
Awesome sale. Then I've just got one of ours. Just a nice pair of G-Star Pharrell Williams that we picked up in that bulk lot. So we've been drip feeding these a couple at a time, just so we don't flood the market on like that style, because we've got a couple 26s. So because we've got a lot brand new with tags, we've sort of been going 2 or 3 at a time. If people want to buy a duplicate, then they can. But I feel like it kind of drives people to buy them because they feel like there's less available, rather than having 30 there and they're like, I can come back and get them later on. So that's our strategy on this sort of stuff. Nice sale. I'm pretty sure that went overseas as well, so there's postage on top of that, which is awesome. So nice little sale there on the G-Star. Still ticking over and still doing well. I saw a couple people drop in. Ken saying feedback should be internal use only, which is what they do on Poshmark, I believe. They kind of keep a record on the back end and don't sort of show too much of it on the front end. I always leave feedback for buyers as I'm loading my postage details, and about 35% leaving feedback, so about the same as everyone else. Nice.
Yeah, so I'm the opposite to you boys. I'm that guy that I can't be bothered doing it. So mine is automated. I don't touch it. It does it itself. And like Brad touched on, you might get that scammer come through, or like old mate that bought 8 things off me at once that wanted to have a wrestle and wrestling our jocks and all that sort of stuff. And really creepy dude, just like hitting on other dudes on eBay, buying up heaps of stuff. Because it was such a niche thing that I sold, and I've left 8 feedback for this guy, one fantastic eBayer and all this sort of stuff. And someone else in the community's reached out that was selling those niche products. You sure this dude's all right? Like, I've just got this message from him. He wants to get nude and start kissing and all that sort of shit. So, and then, you're leaving someone like that, sort of that positive feedback automatically. And then once it's there, it's there. So, I mean, that's the downfall. But at the end of the day, I don't have to worry about doing it. So I literally don't touch anything. If that happens, it happens. I just kind of deal with that now, I guess. I don't like it. I don't like leaving a positive for a scammer, because I don't like the idea of them scamming someone else or potentially scamming someone. But, I mean, they don't last that long anyway, do they? They're only going to scam 1 or 2 people before they get pulled down. So, I definitely don't recommend our approach to everyone. It's just what we do.
But I think automated is a lot cleaner. So, I think you're right in that sense. It sort of takes that bit of stress off your page and you don't have to worry about it. So, yeah, for sure. All right, boys, let's talk about the opposite end of the scale. If anyone in the chat had any good sales of the week, drop them in as well.
Drop them in. We want to see them. There's always some unique shit getting on in the chat. I love seeing them.
TMNT DVD for $80. That's a cool.
Jeez, that's good.
But on the opposite end of the scale, boys, there's lots of dog shit that happens on eBay. So let's just bring up the dog shit.
Hey,
And, he's pumping one out there. So this will be Matty's first dog shit. So it doesn't have to be a dog shit this week. You've had Matt. If you want to think back a bit further, we'll let Flipper have a crack first while you have a think. So Brad, any dog shit this week? Well, last week, because we weren't here last week for Easter as well.
I don't think Matty has to think too hard. I reckon I know what he's going to say. I'm pretty
because
good.
I don't.
Really? Didn't you just get robbed like last week?
Well, I'd say that, yeah. Good call.
Lucky I'm here looking after you, mate.
But that sucks.
Oh, it kind of is. It's your transport. No, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty dog shit free. The only I had a little bit of a dog shit yesterday, which it was annoying. Really annoying. I went to a garage sale, right? And it was a big garage sale, and I'm cruising in there. I didn't film yesterday. Only film when I can be bothered. And cruising in, and I see on the wall they had a lot of sort of beer signs and stuff. So they've got this big sign. It's a VB, the very best, my favourite. Everyone knows I love a good VB. But it was from the Caulfield Cup in '94. And I seen that on the wall. It was fucking beautiful. And I couldn't quite see the tag, how much they wanted for it. But I start strolling over there with the chest out. I thought, fucking, we're on here we go. I'm going to keep this. I don't know what it'd be worth. I mean, it might not be worth heaps, but I'm up and about. And this person got in before me. They didn't cut me off. There was no malice towards it. They just beat me. Picked it up. Would you take $3 for it? And she said yes. I nearly broke down. I nearly dropped to my knees and cried. I was so shattered. So, look, very minor scale dog shit, but I was really upset. And I've had other times where, you see someone else beat you to something good, something that you wanted. And that one broke me heart a little bit. I thought 94 Caulfield Cup VB advertising. How good would that look up here in the bar? But not to be. I probably could have bought. I think he was a reseller. I think they were resellers, so I probably could have bought it off him. But anyway.
Yeah.
Right next to that doggy's premiership, I reckon it would have fitted just nicely there, mate. But
I've got to make room for another one the way we're rolling at the minute.
Oh, so. Calm down. Round 4 and he's calling already. Speaking of, just before we get to that, Captain Opshop Nerd said his dog shit was picking Brisbane.
I agree. I would agree. I did the same thing.
Doggies.
Matty, so Flipper just gave you a dog shit there, but tell us a little bit more detail, or tell us another one if you got something else up your sleeve.
Two for you very briefly. The first one is the van. That's a great call by Judder. I had that stolen about 2 weeks ago, and I've only owned it for a couple of months. So I got pretty attached to it pretty quick. Did the job for me perfectly. I've been picking up a lot of furniture, getting the job done, and went out for a pub feed. And this was Friday night, 6:30. And I was only in the pub for an hour, had a quick feed, came out, and all the cars lined up along the parking lot, and my car park spot completely empty. Completely gone. So I've never had my car stolen before, and I actually kind of just laughed about it. I'm like, somebody's actually nicked my car, and then I've had a bit of a think about it and gone, that's actually really shit. That's this is going to have a big influence on what I'm trying to do here. So it sort of went from laughter to real disappointment real quick. And 14 days, boys, I have not heard from the police. So I think the process is, luckily, fortunately, I am insured, so that's a good thing. But I really like that van because you can get a lot of tradie beat arounds. And this one was not a tradie beat around. It was actually a really good van. So
like a nice car, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
It had a name too, didn't it?
Yeah, Houdini. Chris Furlong named it.
I think it's living up to its name.
Yeah, I know. I know. And you know what? I told everyone about it, which I didn't even realise, in a video on the 1st of April, and everyone thought it was an April Fool's joke. And I'm like, no. I was like, I didn't even see the date. I said, that is actually stolen. It's not there. So I'll be on the lookout for a Houdini 2.0. I'm going to keep the same name, get the same sort of van. It was a Hyundai Highload. They're a reliable car. But yeah, a real quick one on a garage sale one. Very, very similar story. It was a VCR like I just sold. Same sort of a story. I tried to pick it up, and I actually had it in my hands ready to pay for it, and it had been put to the side for somebody else's collection. So they were still doing their runaround, and then right at the end, that person came up and went, "Oh, sorry, I was actually already buying that, even though I've got it in my hands, so I'm about to pay for it." And the person running the sale said, "Actually, yeah, you are right. I didn't realise. Apologies." And then I'm literally just handing over what was about $150 worth of profit, going, "Oh, that kind of sucks." So, and there was nothing else. There was nothing else in the garage sale. So that was the one item I needed. So
that is dog shit. I've done pretty much the same thing. When I walked into a garage sale, there's a box of stuff to the right, and I was like, "Oh, there's some good stuff in here." Started picking through it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll take that. Take that." And the lady's like, "Oh, that's mine. I'm taking that." I'm like, oh. Beat me by 5 minutes because there was some good stuff in there. There was some ink and some other stuff.
You got to go early. You got to go early.
Kind of like when I took old mate's shoes at that bloody house walkthrough. That was more embarrassing.
At least he pulled you up on it. You can walk out with them. But
yeah, nearly flogged his fucking boots. He wasn't happy.
That's gold. You probably won't hear from the police until it's found. Yeah.
Oh, that's what I'm hoping for. I want to get that phone call. I want to hear this. But I'll tell you what, 14 days without it being here, I actually don't want it back because it's probably been really touched up. And
a few days up and down the highway.
Yeah.
I saw a couple of sales dropping as we were talking as well, so I'll highlight them. Sold I don't even know what that is, but Mariano dress for $120, paid $2. That's well outside my knowledge range, but that's awesome.
Yeah.
Clothes, 2 skirts, $2 each, sold for $53 on Facebook.
Nice.
Dress was sold for $42 within 5 minutes on Facebook.
Oof.
And I sold a cognitive psychology book for $100, posted pickup from Salvos from $8.
Daniel gets a lot of good books. He does some really high ticket books.
Yeah, he knows a lot about that stuff. That's something I know fucking nothing about. But some of those psychology books and stuff. Yeah, I always look at that for the later editions because some great money in it, like Dan's done there. But for me, books ain't my fucking I see so many people absolutely killing it. You yourself, Matty, I see you doing a lot in the book game, and fuck, it's just all over my head. There's just so much going on.
Yeah. It's just bundles for me with books. I don't know a thing about them, but I literally just look for sets, and even if they're not complete sets, but you got a good bundle, you get 50 and you buy them for $1 each, $2 each. So I see a place for it for me.
Yeah.
Captain's saying his dog shit is right now finding out I'm down to band 3 from band 4.
Ooh.
That'll ruffle some feathers. One of my brothers and I were parked side by side. Mine was unlocked. His was locked, and they stole his. His was locked, and they stole his. So they took the one that was locked. How did they get in, mate? Did they just smash a window, or you don't? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, look, I don't know, but whatever they've done it well enough to be driving away with it. So
you didn't just have a few too many frothies and drive home, and it's just over the back street or something, is it? Or
I'll tell you what, if I had to be in this weekend, it would have been gone for other reasons. But I don't know. The issue with the Hyundais, and it could have easily been unlocked because the Hyundai iLoad, for anybody watching out there that might have that car, there's only a one-click button. So it either locks and unlocks with the same button. So I could have been walking away and accidentally hit it again and unlocked it. Just super frustrating. But anyway, we'll move on. We'll get another one.
It's the same with Jazzy's Gets. Like, it's got the one on the side, and if you bump it, it just unlocks. And you're 30 meters away, and you're like, is it locked or unlocked now? You're like, I have to go back and check.
It's a poor feature. And I'll tell you what, Gold Coast car theft is on the rise. I don't know about your guys' areas, but cars are getting stolen left, right, and center. I didn't realize until it's obviously happened to me. But lock your cars, guys, because there's people out there for sure.
Yeah, it's bad here. It's really bad here. And the problem is the ones that steal here, there was like a real big sort of rise in it for a while, but they weren't just, pinching it and keeping it or whatever. They just set them on fire like half an hour later. It's so frustrating.
That's the
just having fun,
That's that Alice Springs special, that one, where I'm from initially. The cars would go missing for a day or two. They'd take them on a joyride and then burn them. So if your car got stolen, you could kiss it goodbye because you won't get it back. So
brutal.
Pretty crazy. Well, fingers crossed for you, Matty. Hopefully you are all insured.
Fully insured. I think you got to wait 14 days until you start talking. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to give CommBank a call and try and get the payout sorted because I'm down access to pick up furniture, which is such a large part of what I do.
Of course.
So I'm really, the process for me is probably going to be about another month before I'm back in 4 wheels. So. I was talking to a few of the guys that are into reselling, and I'm sort of saying, there's no issue here because, I've got the full cover of insurance and the rest. But they're like, no, you're actually losing out on time. You're going to miss 6 weeks of being able to pick up furniture. So that is, when I thought about it like that, that's probably been the biggest impact for me. The finances are no concern, but yeah, it's just that loss of time, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, and trying to get everything sorted as well, and all the ring around, and it's just a pain in the ass, isn't it, to get something sorted?
Yeah,
like that.
Super annoying.
Oh, I hope you get it sorted, mate. That's definitely topped all that.
That's a classic dog shit of the week for my first time on, hey?
I think you've hit the top of the board with that one. We haven't had one that bad in a while. I think
one of the better ones.
Yeah, you're right up there. I do appreciate you bringing that on. It wasn't a setup, but it's definitely a top of the board. So
no, like I said, I wanted to get Matty on this week just because I knew my team were playing his team yesterday, and I was just quietly confident the doggies would get up, and we did.
Yeah,
so thanks for joining us, Matty.
Yeah, timing is everything.
Top of the shit ladder, Jazz reckons. Absolutely. So we still got 15 minutes left. So I guess while we've got you on, Matty, we want to find out a bit more about you. So obviously we see your videos and what you're doing, but what's apart from having to get the van back, but what's the future look like for the Aussie Flipper? Obviously you said you sort of want to be able to move out and get your own space and all that sort of stuff, but what's the long-term goals? Are you sort of thinking real big or just enough to keep you financially stable?
Well, the goal is literally to have a full-time job that is reselling, where I can be my own boss and fend for myself. And until that sort of ticks off and happens, I'm not going to really look too much further than that. I've got a goal, $100,000 in eBay sales, or overall sales, Facebook Marketplace included. And I just want to hit that milestone for my first, well, really more so for 2020, because I had a slow build when I started sort of mid last year. But I tell you what, guys, ever since I got into it and sort of took it on as a bit of a challenge, I know Chris Furlong put out his, give a chance on me. And I'm sort of a bit of the same in a sense of just giving something a go for myself. Yep. And I'm really kind of enjoying that process of really structuring my day how I'd like to structure my day. And everyone talks about how good is it to have your own, freedom. And that's 100% why I want to do it. But there's also a sense of not having too much freedom because I'm just working so damn much. Yeah. But that's not a concern because I genuinely love every single part of the process. I'm enjoying every single step along the way. And I'm really passionate about trying to get better with video editing. I never really ever did any of that prior to starting a YouTube channel last year. And for me, I was sort of away from home for 5 years, and I've come back and I'm living at home. I've got mum and dad here at the house. They're supporting me in that regard. But I'm trying to build it up as fast as I possibly can, work as many hours as I possibly can, build up the YouTube channel as much as I possibly can as well, and then just literally just move out of home and just live in a share house again. And, I'm a single guy, but, meet somebody and settle down, buy a place, just do what everyone else wants to do, but have my job as being a full-time reseller / YouTuber, trying to help somebody else out there that might want to make an extra $100 a week themselves as a side hustle. So yeah, like grand plans, future large scale grand plans, I don't really have them. It's just kind of get to this first stage of a goal and then try to make the next step and see where it goes from there. But geez, I'm learning a lot. I'll tell you what.
Yeah,
it's fun, isn't it?
You never stop in this game, hey? Like there's just so many things that you can possibly learn. And I think the more people that put out content, the more you learn, because you do a lot of furniture, which we never touched because it's just not in our knowledge base. You got Brad bringing toys and footy Guernseys and stuff that I would have had no idea about before. So I think it's great to see so many new channels starting up and giving it a crack and sharing their knowledge. So I definitely keen to see what you're doing.
I think a big thing for me over the journey has been I sort of very much, scattering through every single item I could find that I thought I could make a profit on and just buying it for the sake of buying it. And I've really, over the journey, streamlined and locked into 5 categories: shoes, clothes, DVDs, books, and furniture. Yeah. And, they're the 5 categories that I buy. And my videos might get a bit repetitive and boring to people that watch regularly because I'm now starting to just source and buy the same stuff. But I watch a lot of Daily Refinement on YouTube, who I know a lot of the guys watching, I'm sure have watched a lot of his videos. And I really like the way he breaks down the numbers to the game and kind of structuring his business around certain focus. So I've just learned a lot from him, actually, quite a bit in the sense of how to structure your business. And I've really kind of streamlined into those, 5 categories. And I think by actually having had the experience of buying multiple products to now only focusing on a few, you get really good at buying those few. And you can actually build a business around 4 or 5 different products, really. Yeah. As long as you've got the inventory there to be able to do so. So yeah, that's one big thing that's really helped kind of take the stress out of what to buy. I know what I need to buy, and now I'm just going out there and trying to find it. But that's probably been the biggest learning over the last few months.
Definitely. I think that's sort of something that, like we do go outside our normal 5 if we see something that's sort of, that golden item. But generally when we walk into a thrift shop, we know that shoes, jackets, jeans, and maybe some hard goods are going to be the sections that we look at. And that's where we're going to
Do you look at any other part of the store?
I will have a quick browse through. Like if I walk past the toys, I'll have a quick flick. I'll have a quick look through like shirts and men's, but I won't spend a lot of time there because I know there's so many other people that are picking shirts. I know there's heaps of vintage guys down here. We've got so many vintage guys that I know that probably someone else has been there. Whereas jackets, jeans and stuff, I know is my bread and butter. I can pick it up for $10, sell it for 50, or hopefully get it cheaper. But I can find enough of those to keep the business going. And where we are, we've got R.M. Williams obviously in bucket loads because of the factory. So I'm sure people are getting sick of seeing R.M. Williams on the channel, but the fact of the matter is it makes us money every day and what keeps us going. So
for sure.
I do want to touch on something that you said about going full time and the sort of like free time that everyone thinks you get. And me and Jazz were talking about this morning. So obviously Jazz is full time and I'm part-time with my full-time job. So one thing that I asked her, because I haven't been in that full-time space yet, and I want you guys to sort of give me your answer as well, is when I'm working my full-time job, I'm always counting down to my next day. So right now I'm like, I got 3 hours before I need to be in bed. And then I've got X amount of time before that day starts. Do you know what I mean? I'm always sort of like, I'm always in my head, I have to go to bed by this time. I have to have this done by this time because I know that I have to present well to the job the next day. And I asked Jazz today, I was like, is that something that you do now? Like, do you still count down for the next day? And she's like, well, not really. But because I'm still working, she's still on like a schedule where she gets up when I go to work and she'll sort of, start the day. Do you guys sort of have that where you feel like that sort of clock counting, it doesn't happen anymore? Do you feel like that's changed since you've moved to full-time reselling?
I'm pretty set into a routine now, and I think it's kind of important to have that, but it's also helpful to have that flexibility behind you when needed. So, for example, we spoke about it last week when Eli was sick and we had him home and that I had to change my whole routine around, which kind of cooked me a bit. I sort of wasn't used to it because I got into such a routine. But for me now, I'm a very early up getter, and my biggest problem is I'm actually staying up too late as well. So I'm not sleeping much, and my body got used to that being a shift worker. Like I used to literally do weekends of 12-hour shifts, and I'd only sleep for 3 hours through the day, every day for a whole weekend. Like, and it's no good for you. Like it was terrible, but I just struggled with sleep in the day. So my body actually can function on bugger all sleep, but I eventually, after a few weeks, just crash, So I've sort of got into this routine now where I'm trying to be in bed by kind of midnight, but I'm up at nearly, 5:30 every day. So I get up, I do all my post, same day, one day handling. So I'll get up, pack all my orders of a morning. And then usually by the time I'm finished, depends on, Mondays are a bit different because there's a few extras, but then I'll get Eli up, get him his brekkie into him, get him dressed and take him to daycare, or Kate will drop him off on the way to work. Then after it, then I'm sort of free. Then I've got my whole day and, I'll schedule in, I've got to cook the teas and that now because I'm at home through the day. So, whether I'm putting the slow cooker on or getting something organised, do me post run, I might go out for a thrift that day, or the actual schedule in regards to I don't really plan ahead what I'm doing. That's kind of day by day, just kind of depends what's going on. But yeah, I've definitely got that morning routine set now, and that is more because of the kid. I've got his priorities, so I've got to work around him.
Yeah, I think having a routine is super important no matter what you're doing. But I think what I'm trying to say is I'm always worried about what I'm doing now and how it's going to affect me tomorrow. So I'm always counting down to the next day at work. Like that's even on a Saturday, I'm like, all right, I've got to do this weekend. I've got to get a video filmed. I've got to go live on Sunday night. And there's all these little increments in the day counting back to the start of the work week. And that's something I'm really struggling with. And is that something that's changed for you, Maddie? Do you find that you don't have that countdown clock in your head? Is that something you had before?
Yeah, well, absolutely. I used to love my job in the sporting industry. I've worked in the AFL for 10 years, but I used to dread Sunday night because I just knew that I had a full week of work left ahead of me. Just the grind of a 9 to 5, and you've got a boss, and the boss is telling you to do certain things by certain times. And now that I'm my own boss, I'm probably working doubly as much as what I did when I had the 9-to-5 job, but I am 100% less stressed about it. And I think that's probably been the biggest thing for me in the sense of my own mindset and happiness, I guess, is probably the word. Because yes, they are long days, but they're my long days. I'm determining that they're long days. And, I'm a bit like Brad in the sense that I'll start out pretty early in the morning, and I love the fact that you can start and clock into your day whenever you like. Yeah. But just like a 9-to-5 job, as much as you don't have the structure of your boss or whoever telling you what to do, I'm creating my own structure for myself because that's just the best way that I operate. But I could pretty much tell you from a Monday through to a Sunday, even though I don't have anything set out, there's no meetings to go to, no phone calls to make, I could tell you exactly where I'm going to be at any point in time on any certain day, just because I'm in that repetitive rhythm of that's just where I am. That's just what I do. The video happens on a Thursday. Tuesday, I'll do another video. I thrift on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The post is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So without even thinking about it, I've suddenly got this process of what I go through. But I never think about the very next day because I'm just doing what I need to do that day. Yeah. And when a Friday night comes around, or a Friday comes around, that's no different to what a Monday feels like for me. Yeah. Every day feels exactly the same. And that was certainly never the case when I was doing a Monday to Friday sort of 9-to-5 type job. And that's really cool because that's the freedom that you speak about, like that's that mindset freedom of going, I don't need to go to work. I don't need to get that bus, whatever the case may be, it's on your terms. But if you want to do it, you're going to have to work your butt off because there's just simply not a way to do it.
Yeah. I don't think, people saying in the chat, they work 6 hours a day, some people 8 hours and stuff like that. But I think I've been struggling to work out like what I'm struggling with. And that I think is the countdown to the next work day and not being able to just go, I don't have to worry about that. Like I can just do what I need to do when I need to do it for myself rather than having to, get up, get on a bus, go to work for somebody else for however long, come home. I'm wasting 2 hours on a bus that never get back every day.
How far off full time do you think you are?
We ran some numbers pretty much in January, and we probably need a consistent 650 a day to make it work for our situation. Now we've got a mortgage and a investment property and a lot of overheads, so that's just our situation. And I think the big difference for us is we're not going to have, we've got we need to replace 2 incomes for our lifestyle. So I think that's where we're at. And that's why we're starting the House of Cards as a separate income to try and, just add a little bit extra because we're like, that close to being able to do it. But I'm very aware of money and I don't want to just jump without being 100% certain that everything is in line. So, it's one of those things that
things like mortgages, that's you'd want to be 100% certain before you take the leap, right?
Yeah, you have to be. So one day I'm sure I'll get to join the full-time resale squad, and from now I'll just watch and cheer from the sidelines. Love what you boys are doing, and love what all the other full-timers are doing that are doing it and are being successful. It's great to see so many people making that lifestyle for themselves, and it's great to see. So we've got a minute to go. So what we're going to do, quick wrap around of what's coming up on the channels. Obviously, Maddie's probably going to have a pretty consistent week. But what about you, Flipper? You got much planned for this week?
This week I'm probably going to drop a what's sold. I haven't done that for a while. Last time I was puffing me guts out when I was trying to do it. So a bit more of a simplistic what's sold. No running. I did put out a little thing asking people what they wanted me to do this time, and I was going to get Instagram to vote on it. There's a few there, but I've lost the screenshot. So she might be a bit more simplistic, but you know me, I'll still be a fucking idiot and carry on. So what I'm going to do this time, though, because it's sort of with the what's sold, rather than showing high-end items and, just random-ass bolos that go for a couple $100, I'm actually going to do what's sold for under $50. So just some bread and butter. I'm going to get the bread and butter out and talk a bit more about that, because that's not something I really speak about a lot on my channel. I like showing how big my dick is when I get a big sale. So, you got to show what it's like when it's cold too. So I might do a bit of that. So I'll probably do one of that this week, and I might do I'll try and double up again this week. Maybe go for a thrift through the week. And then the winner's vault. I'm going to plug my own shit here. We started up Facebook group. It's called the Winners Vault. If you do like the sort of high-end items and raffles, swing on over and have a look. You can also, if you've got stuff that you want to flog off on there, if you want to raffle some stuff, if you don't have a big-ish following on Instagram and you don't have that ability to do it, hopefully this is a place where we can build up for that. Be more for sort of collectors and that side of things rather than resellers. But if you like a cheeky gamble, there's going to be a bit going on there. So I've got a Blake Griffin signed ball with a certificate up at the minute. It's got a couple of people who jumped on it, so it's $10 a spot. You can get it for $10. Simple as that. There's a couple $100 worth of value in it. So the first one went well. We had a Brizzy Lions team signed jumper, and that went to Flippity Flop. They won. They've done 2 in a row from me now. They won the Pokemon cards last time.
Controversy on that last spin there, Flipper, I must say, is he's got a bit of a sticky finger there on that last one.
I was smashing it, just wouldn't do anything. I'm sorry, mate. I know you're in there head to head, but they had you. I'm sorry. If you like that sort of stuff, come on over and we'll try and build it up and see what happens. I was involved in something like that a long time ago and it was good fun. But, obviously not for everyone, resellers and that, especially if there's going to be vintage T-shirts, sports memorabilia, all sorts of stuff. So I'll be hopefully floating around on there this week too.
Beautiful. Definitely keen to keep building that up. It's fun times over there on the Winners Vault, so come on over. Maddie, tell us what's coming up this week on the channel. Give yourself a bit of a pump up. Jazzy's dropped your channel in there as well for you.
I appreciate that, guys.
I've in the description as well. So if somehow you haven't found Maddie yet, head on over and give him a sub because he's putting out good content all year round. Tell us what's up this week.
I'm going to cut up a little video from my Sydney trip. There's going to be less beers and a bit more thrifting to what actually took place. But I'll do a little cut up there. I think that's going to be a cool little video. Something a bit different for me to actually have done a bit of travel. Go to a place like Sydney and check out what was some pretty outlandish pricing, to be fair. But after that, I'll do the trip to the thrift on Thursday, and which I just love making that thrift video. I love going out there, but I love making that video. So that'll just continue, and then I'll do the what's sold. But I have if I can have a spare second, I've just made a new website. So I've started to put some items out of that trip to the thrift video at a reduced price for viewers of the YouTube channel. It's a new thing that I'm doing. I've had a few sales come through, which is fantastic to get the support. But thehouseofmumba.com.au is the new site. It's taken a little while to build, but things are ticking along pretty well now, and that sort of just adds to the channel. So I'm excited to see sort of where that goes, picking out a few key items from the Thursday thrift video and whacking it up there. So not a heap of items, but a select few, and anyone out there that wants to grab it can jump online. It's a pretty simple purchase process.
Awesome. That's a cool little idea there, something a bit different.
Yeah.
Just quickly for us, Jazz is going to do a Monday ride-along tomorrow because we didn't go thrifting this weekend, so she's going to be doing one of them. And then Friday, if my bloody wholesale lot gets here, I'm planning on doing a wholesale Is It Worth It video. So
would love to watch that one.
Yeah, got some good stuff coming, but, you pay up for this stuff and your time frames on selling it, and is it worthwhile? So hopefully that gets here by Friday, or otherwise I'll have to pull something out of that. But yeah, that's what's coming up here. Obviously, make sure you head over to Matt's channel, the Aussie Flipper, give him some love, and we will see you hopefully next Sunday back on Wide World of Reselling, probably with another guest. At this point in time, we're not sure. Robbie's got a fair bit on his plate for the next few weeks, so we'll hopefully get a new guest on and maybe do a bit of a rotation. But appreciate you coming on, Maddie. We appreciate your time, and we hope everything goes well with the channel, and hopefully you get that van back or a new one.
Yeah. Fingers crossed, boys. Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
We're getting you back. We're getting you back too.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of fun. I love doing them. Awesome.
All right, guys. I'll end broadcast. You can stick around in the green room if you want, guys, and have a bit of a chat. But otherwise, thanks everyone for coming. Appreciate you being here on Sunday. That's all for tonight from the Worldwide Reselling crew.